Hey everybody, it's Ricky from All Sorts of Words, and this is a grand experiment. I've never done a live anything by myself, and I didn't tell anybody about this. This is this is honestly primarily a demo. Stick around, you dick. Don't run out of here. It's a demo because I wanted to see if I could set up a secondary camera and like show comics while I'm talking. Hey Richard, how are you? So I wanted to try a setup where I can show comics while I'm just talking and like directly engage with y'all. Yeah, like just talk more. Like Richard's here and we never get to talk. It's always I feel kind of shitty because like imagine you go to a wedding, like Richard, I'm talking to you. Imagine you go to a wedding and you want to like mix and mingle and be included and talk to people, and there's the group of cool kids or whatever, and they're just like you can't get a word in edgewise, or they get carried away and all of a sudden you can't talk. So that's what I'm looking to do here. So I just want to like show some comics and pay more attention to the comment section. And yeah, this is an easier way for me to do hauls because I hate doing dedicated haul videos. I will do dedicated haul videos, but let's get to it. Let's look at some comics. You guys aren't here to listen to me ramble. So give me a second. I've got banners, not banners. Here, check this out. Check this out. Me and screen share, and then I can do this, and then I can do this. Look at this setup. Tell me you get this from other comic YouTubers. You can't. Okay, so these first books I'm going to show, these actually came from a fellow YouTuber, Comics Limited. We actually had a pretty pretty contentious debate for a minute about where the first appearances of Gen 13 came from, and I will show those. But he made an argument for this one. This is Inside Image. This is a arguably the first cover appearance of Gen 13. That's who these characters are. Pardon me, didn't want to cough in your face. So this is arguably the first appearance of Gen 13 because it's one of those advertisement things. But I want to ask, the comment sections are to get some things coming up. I want to ask, do y'all believe that advertisements are the first appearance of comic book characters? Logically, logically, I can see the point. It's the first time their image has appeared in media. That makes sense to me. However, it's kind of like, and this is how I sold it to Travis. It's a difference between an ad in a magazine for a vacuum cleaner and me holding the physical vacuum cleaner. Does that make sense? One of them will clean my house. One of them is useful, and one of them is a picture of a thing that will clean my house. So an advertisement, if this analogy holds, is effectively an advertisement of a comic book is effectively like a commercial for the thing that we're talking about here, that first appearance. We have one vote for no, ads don't count. I personally agree. So that's where this discussion began. He also sent along this just to be cool. This is a Gen 13 zine, which is I love the little ash cans. People are so crazy about the comic book, the actual comic books themselves, right? But like ash cans are so neat, just the history of them. In case you didn't know, in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, to preserve copyrights, ash cans were created and printed often with different names and sometimes different art, just so they could get the copyright moving while they were working on copywriting the material. So zines have a very specific cultural importance in comic books themselves. I picked this up at my local store, Midcoast Comics. This is Gen 13 number 0. Just early J. Scott Campbell stuff. I So I look at 90s girls. Like clearly this isn't a human woman. This is not the shape. This is not the shape a human woman takes. But the reason why I've grown appreciative of the 90s representation of the female form and even the male form, these giant grotesque gorilla chested men. The reason why I appreciate those is because it's like pop art. It's like Picasso. I know someone in the world just like grabbed their chest and collapsed because I just compared 90s comics to Picasso, but it's super stylized. There is no difference between 90s art like this and anime, in my not so humble opinion. And so I think that art's beautiful. I think this art's beautiful. Here's some more beautiful art. This is Gen 13 number 1. Um, this is not the first appearance of Gen 13. You can find this readily in dollar stores and dollar books. But if you love, see, Bone Claws gets it. Yes, the Vampirella and Red Zone, you do have great form. If you love the 90s, people's brains go to people like Rob Liefeld. And I get it. The guy sewed pockets onto everything. However, um, for my money, pound for pound, Gen 13 early art like this is 90s to me. This is the stuff my mom wouldn't let me have in the house. Look at that. Gen 13 number 3. All this stuff. Dollar books to the moon. You know what I'm saying? Oh, see, now we get like a paragraph. What are you saying? Logically adds to the first appearance. Yes, I agree. But in my heart, the answer is no. It's like for the first Teen Titans, I hate the DC Comics Event 26, its first appearance, and not the new Teen Titans issue number 1. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. See, when someone sends me a block of text like that, look how pessimistic I get really quickly. That's just me as a person. This, folks, Deathmate number 1. You'll see black in the corner. It is it's almost indecipherable. Like, look at how it looks in this camera. Isn't that ridiculous? That's how 90s this is. You actually have to like look at it to be like, wait, where the hell does he begin? And his American flag back and these other characters end. It's wild. This you can find in dollar bins all the time. This is the first appearance of Gen 13. They don't call Fairchild. Fairchild's that redhead. That's like the sexy poster child for the team. That one, that is Fairchild. Fairchild in this goes by a different name. They're like, oh, Project ZX275, but it isn't until the later issues that she is renamed or identified at least as Fairchild. In fact, here we go. This is another dollar book. You can find this book anywhere, everywhere for $1 all the time. In fact, I paid $1 and it had 2 copies in the same book, and the store owner didn't care. He just charged me $1 for it. But this is the first appearance of primarily the entirety of the team. So everybody but Fairchild, that main character. This was another dollar find, and this is what I'm talking about, where I talk about 90s representation of women and how I love them and how they're ridiculous at the same time. This is Evangeline and Glory. Evangeline is on the left, Glory is on the right. Look, where the fuck do you put her organs? Where do her organs go? That dumper is purely decorational. That is not a butt meant for pooping. That is a butt meant for oogling, I should say. Although Google it as well. But this is Glory and Evangeline. Evangeline recently, as in like 2 weeks ago, came into prominence because Rob Liefeld on Instagram was running his mouth, as Rob Liefeld does, and he said, "Oh, there's a project out there, an Evangeline movie." Yeah, we're talking about Liefeld blabbing about an Evangeline movie and how it's coming. Here it comes, the Evangeline movie any minute now, and Margot Robbie's attached to it. I call supreme bullshit because listen to me. I want to make the video about this, but there's so many other videos on my plate that I'm running out of time to breathe. But this is something I want to talk about. Evangeline is literally, not even playing, one of the worst things I've ever read. It is, how do I put this? Okay, in case you didn't notice before, I want to kind of Mandela affect your brain for a second. Comic books in the 90s were predominantly about the angelic and the demonic constantly. If they needed a good guy, it was related to heaven in some way. If they needed a bad guy, it's related to hell in some way, or sometimes vice versa. Characters like Spawn Lady Death is literally like a replacement for Satan when she kills him. Witchblade is witchy. So the 90s were very witchy in terms of comic books. And Evangeline was a Rob Liefeld creation where she was an angel who was kicked out of heaven. We don't know why she was kicked out of heaven for a very long time. I'm still reading the issues. I bought everything she was in, of course, because I almost said the R word because I'm an idiot. But I bought all the Evangeline. I've been reading it. It's trash. It's literally trash. She comes to Earth and she befriends this character, Evangeline. Evangeline comes to Earth and she becomes a like a homeless person. And a priest, takes her in to the church and he's like, "Oh, I just want to like help you out." But there's this like gross sexual tension they manufacture between the priest and this fallen angel. And there are demons and they have various motivations. It's terrible. It's literally one of the worst things you could ever read. The art is laughably gross, and they only really sold because of these Liefeld covers. This character is a Liefeld creation and a Liefeld hack. I hate it. Darkness 1/2. That $4. That is in fact what I paid for it. I got into the darkness. So the Darkness is a guy named Jackie Estacado, and he is a capo for the mob in New York City in the 90s. And he is super handsome, and my guy fucks. Literally every night he hangs out at this bar and he has this will they won't they relationship with the bartender, a female bartender. And every night he casting couches girls at the bar. So he actually on the, I think it's the second or third issue, he hits on a girl and she's so dumb to he convinces her to go home with him because he's going to get her a walk-on role on The Simpsons. That's the level of genius we're dealing with here with this guy. And so randomly, this capo for the mob finds out that he is the inheritor of a blood legacy of superpowers, the Darkness. And the Darkness is the most powerful magical thing in this Image universe. And what does the Darkness do? Anything he imagines. He can summon an endless array of demons from the Darkness to then make him do what he wants. So he can, be like, go eat that guy's head or whatever, or just let him run wild. But the demons are endlessly loyal to him. There's no politics in terms of I'm the demon that's going to take over Jackie's life. None of that's come up yet. But I'm reading it. I've read up through issue 3. Here's the issue that I grew up with, but I'll show you the variant cover for issue 1 in a second. It's this incredible art. Oh, I'm trying to remember the guy's name for the life of me. Mark Silvestri. This just brilliant art. Look at this. That's 90s as a mother. The only thing that could make him more 90s is if he didn't believe AIDS existed and there was nipples on his costume. That's the only way. Maybe some pockets. Talk to Liefeld. This is the alternative issue number 1. Significantly, I don't think he's talking about this one, but I'm gonna make it sound like you're talking about this one. Sorry, Ryan. This is the alternative cover for issue number 1. So if you see it in the wild, it is the same thing as this issue, but this is the one. That's the one that people have tattooed on their souls. Yeah, let me put these down. Okay, here we go. Keep going. Darkness number 2. This is more of that Silvestri art. It's just insane. Okay, so this guy he's holding up right here. The main source of information that Jackie Estacado, this man here who is the Darkness, the main source of information he has about his powers and who he is, in terms of a superhero, anti-hero, whatever, is this order of monks who actually have set up their base of operations about 200 feet beneath the Statue of Liberty. That's not dead air. I just need you to emotionally feel that sentence, how ridiculous it is. These monks have set up their tower underneath the Statue of Liberty, and they're trying to tell Jackie, hey man, here's how you use your powers, here's how you develop. And wouldn't you know it, Jackie Estacado's kryptonite, his darkness weakness, is that if he has sex and gets a woman pregnant, he will die and pass his powers on to his heir. That's how this works. Presumably, that's how Jackie's dad died when he was a kid. Jackie immediately freaks out because he's never heard of blowjobs before. He's never heard of anal sex before. He's never heard of adult sex before. And so he freaks out because he's like, oh, well, I could just have safe sex, right? And the monk tells him, no. If this girl gets pregnant anyway, you're going to die instantly. So it's kind of like a stupid people plot, but it's still funny. It's played for laughs. Number 3, this is where I've run up to. Oh, and fun side note on these Darkness comics, they were written by Garth Ennis. I didn't know that. I didn't know that because nobody reads this shit. I read this shit. But this is Darkness number 3. And now we're just getting into kind of like pickup territory because I haven't read this far yet. But here's number 5. These are some example. There's Jackie's hand. This is an example of some of the demons he can summon. There's, I don't know. I'm not crazy about the cover. He kind of looks like Ultimate Warrior. Hulk Hogan. Grab the plane. Okay. Number 7. See, look at this. He makes like little homies. See, okay. So yes, that's a good question, Richard. What if you become a sperm donor? You still die? Yeah, no. So apparently the it's passed on when you get a girl pregnant. Your baby is now going to be the inheritor of the darkness, and you just croak. Look at this. Should or should that not be painted on the side of a tilt-a-whirl? Give me a break. Oh, hope I appreciate you. Like, it's hard. So my collector brain extends into comic books. So like so obviously I collect comics, but what I'm saying is I don't want to read like one issue here, one issue here, one issue here. I want to read all 70 issues in a row if I can. So I do bounce around, but I bounce around in stuff like this. Like right now I'm doing Evangeline, I'm doing Darkness. I'm still reading Judge Dredd from the original trades, but Christ. You get stuck for a little while. Here we go. Family Ties, part something. Can't see it under the sticker. More. That actually looks like Witchblade. So Witchblade and Darkness, they're both Top Cow. And so they want to link the characters as much as they can in the 90s because they want to make money off both the characters, share the entertainment. Witchblade number 10. Hey. Witchblade number 10 is the first appearance of Jackie Estacado before he has the powers of the darkness. So there's that link not only intercompanyly in the fact that Top Cow's character Witchblade is a character they own, and obviously they want to promote it with the darkness. However, there's also that additional connection. This is I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, I mean, obviously, hot 90s girl, dead darkness. That's cool. It's a cool teaser, but the golden browns, not too nuts about it. This is number 12. Now we're talking. Look at that. You can see in the 90s, all the men got like the dick root. You know what I mean? That deep V. That deep V. Alex Ross doesn't give us the deep V. Alex Ross gives us the bulge. This is a wild one. Again, more dead Jackie. They love promoting him dying on his books because I think he's got like a heel factor coming. So like a Christ-like image. Number 15. And number 16, kind of a fairy tale-ish. I don't know. See, you guys, hey, I'm doing this for you because I'm literally I'll have to put all these back later in order. This is driving me nuts a little bit off camera. I'll have to come up with a better system. Okay, that's a neat one. Also, see all my mood lights and how they're conflicting with me trying to light this comic. I almost want to get like a shadow box. I gotta find the right position. That's a good one. Here's a kind of spy cover. What is that? Issue 19. Now we jump up to 22. You can't really see Jackie under the sticker. Okay, Darkness 23. Just a close-up of his mug. Mean mugging it. And then here's where we get into some fun stuff. Because the series ended in the 50s. I can't remember which which number, 50 something, 52. But check these out. They had some sick collaborations, Darkness and Vampirella. And they made her, I don't know. I mean, she's hot. She always is. She can't not be. She's Vampirella. But, you know, little bloody fist action. And then here we go. Darkness Witchblade. Number 1. They're all one shots, so don't go looking for number 2. Okay, now the box goes off the rails. This is my pickup box. This is what I've been buying lately, but now it goes off the rails. It's a little all over the place. Here we go. Vampirella. Oh, goodness. So I counted the other day. I have over 200 Vampirella virgin variants. Because the more virgin variants you buy, the less of a virgin you feel. I picked this up. This is not what I paid, $30. I actually paid a little less than that. So if you've been watching this channel at all, if you ever watch this channel, I'm a huge indie nerd. I like the indie books. I do like superheroes. I like capes. I like DC specifically, but indie books hold a place in my heart. And this is the first appearance of Rocketeer. Boy, howdy. If I had a human corpse for every single time Dave Stevens comes up in modern conversation. So yes, this is the Rocketeer, his first appearance. This is not, I think Rocketeer is like the B story. This is not he's not on the cover. People are talking a lot about Dave Stevens. That's perfectly fine. Like what you like, collect what you like. I don't care. I do feel, and I'm interested in seeing if the comment section agrees. I do feel that there are different, I don't want to say classes of collector in comics, but like spheres of collection in comics. And the people who collect Dave Stevens are the same type of people who commonly use the word cover buy. I'm not immune to it. I just showed a Vampirella book like 10 seconds ago. It's just the Dave Stevens books, they don't do it for me. Like Vampirella, I get because I have a connection to that character and I want to keep getting her cover appearances. Same as if your favorite character was Spider-Man. You want to get as many Spider-Man covers as you can. I don't have any connection to the shit that Dave Stevens draws. Dave Stevens just, tells sci-fi stories or indie books, or maybe he'll do like I know that in the Who's Who book, he drew Catwoman once. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I need to have that like character connection. And in this case, I don't really care about the Rocketeer, but I grew up with the movie and the movie meant something to me. So I wanted this book. I'm not going off on a Dave Stevens kick where I'm going to start collecting them. Lettuce Comics says, always love the Rocketeer and Dave's art style is cool. Agree. But the spec on his books because of the tragedy of his story really rubs me the wrong way. Yo, I still don't buy any Bob Ross shit because I know that like his entire legacy was ripped off and like his kids don't even benefit from it. And just in case you didn't know, let me ruin Christmas for you. Bob Ross, if you buy anything, a calendar, a t-shirt, a koozie, I don't give a shit. If you buy anything Bob Ross, it doesn't go to the Ross name or legacy at all. It goes to the people who swindled it out of him on his deathbed. It's a wild and horrible story, but like, I didn't see the Dave Stevens movie yet, but I do see comments like that pop up. This I got at the recent mall show. I'm a huge Supergirl collector. Look at this nonsense. It's like a board game based on her life. I did pay $22. I never see this book in relatively high grade. And it's just such a great cover, just all highlights from her life. Here's the deal. Welcome to All Sorts of Words, my channel. I don't really care about book quality. I do and I don't. If I can get a really good book, like a high quality book for a decent price, sure, I'll spend the extra couple bucks. But if someone says, here's the 9.8 for $1,500, or you can get this 5.0 for $300, I would rather get 5.0s than put the money into the 9.8, especially because the 9.8 usually revolves around some sort of company, CGC, CBCS, EGS. I don't care. I want to be able to access the book. And the moment the book is slabbed, I don't have access to it anymore. And if someone says, well, yeah, you can still get the slab. You can get the slab, but you should also really get you can get the trade and you can read it and you can have the book and, literally have your cake and eat it too. If you're okay reading the trade, then why buy the slab? Why? I don't care. Where's Streaky on that Supergirl cover? Is she on here? No, I have the first Streaky appearance, but she's not on here. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant. Okay, this is a crypto cover. This is the only crypto cover I found at the mall sale. And it sucks because he's being a dick. Like, I love crypto, but I love it when he's cute. I love it when he's adorable, but like, this is, come on, get out of here. What are we doing? Okay, I found out that can I leave? Here we go. Streaky is Supergirl's cat. It's a red cat with a lightning bolt down its side because on the days leading up to Krypton's destruction, there were just rockets with animals just just like Jor-El just rocking it off animals every 15 seconds. Okay, this one I never see in as high of grade as I'm holding. It's a square bound book. You'd think it would be safer. You think it would survive a lot more, but Legion of Superheroes, 80-page giant, Superboy starring the Legion of Superheroes. Look, I'm a huge Legion fan, and I forgot the key significance of this book. And then, okay, this one, 20 bucks. It's an all split cover. I don't care. But this is the first appearance of Bizarro Supergirl. I've never held this book. It's always been behind glass or on a slab wall or whatever, and it's always been in the hundreds of dollars. So for $20 for a detached cover, or partially detached, it's held on by this like little sweet little nubbin at the bottom. Dark Horse presents Black Cross #1. This is a book you can still find in dollar bins. This is not only the first appearance of the Eisner Award-winning character Concrete, this is also the first Dark Horse comic ever. This is Dark Horse the Company #1. It's effectively like Marvel Comics #1, but for Dark Horse. If I paid $3, if you can find it for cheap, it's a piece of history. Okay, I'm saving these twos for next. This is exciting. I love sharing the story, but I never had the books, but now I can show the books to tell the story. Here's a fun one. Terminator, The Burning Earth, #1 of 5. Anybody in the chat know the significance of this one? Anybody? Nope. That's fine. This is the first comic book cover art ever of anything of Alex Ross. Let us know, you trash bag. But I said it before you, so I'm going to call you a cheater. That's the first appearance of Alex Ross. Here's the cute one. This is where it gets fun. Terminator, The Burning Earth, #5 of 5. Now, this is a set that I like to talk about. One, because this bridges the conversation between the book and Alex Ross. This one's fun. So, Alex Ross was doing art for Now Comics, doing a ton of work, his painted style. You can still see like all of Alex Ross's talent on display, right? Here's the fun part. He was getting paid very little while he was doing this work. And he started to hate how much work he was doing compared to how much he was getting paid. So on this all Terminator crazy cover, right? He snuck in backwards. Now Comics blows. He's just shitting on them in their face. How great is that? So these books, on the whole, most people don't identify with those stories, so most people leave them in dollar bins. Terminator, The Burning Earth, you'd pass over this, but if you see this one, they all have that. It's not like a variant or anything. They didn't catch it, they didn't recall it, but if you see it for like $1, or I paid $4, totally worth it. Okay, this is a strange one for me, and we need to have a larger conversation about this. This is Harlan Ellison, Dream Corridors, #1. Harlan Ellison was a science fiction fantasy writer. He hated being called that, so I like to call him that in death. I'll tell you why. He would just like to call himself a writer, and he was a very prolific writer, a very opinionated writer, and a talented writer. Famous short story, I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream. I like Pretty Maggie Money Eyes. That's my favorite short story of his. However, I got this. It's covered in documentation to prove its authenticity. But this was at my mall show in Lewiston, Maine. And that's the author, Harlan Ellison. That's his like real image. And he plays kind of like a crypt keeper Vampirella type character. Like, hey, welcome to my world. You want to check it out? Look at this wild shit. And then you hear the stories. But he signed the book, this ridiculous kind of Danielle Steele back cover of a book. If I ever have this, guys, for real, hold me to this. If I ever get a book deal in any meaningful way, I will 100% wear like a pink gown and a feather boa, and I'll lay by a pool. I really want the full Danielle Steele effect. But why this book is controversial is because he's been dead for a number of years now, but it's coming to light that he might have been a Cosby-ish kind of predator. And you can watch his documentary on Amazon. It's called Dreams with Sharp Teeth. He is an amazing talent. He was an amazing creator, but there's a lot of women coming out saying some bad things about him posthumously. And I have this constant internal debate with myself over whether or not I'm cool representing terrible people in my house with their art. And that's an opinion I can share, but that's not a question that anyone can answer but yourself. Are you okay owning a Cosby set, like a DVD box set, if the show means something to you, but you know he's a monster? That's a personal question and answer. I can't clarify that for you. Let me turn my light up. I can't clarify that for you. You got to clarify that for you. And so it's hard, but I'm getting better as I age about divorcing the art from the artist. And so I'm in a place right now where I think I can handle it, having his autograph in my house, despite knowing what I know. Now we go to Vampy Town. This is a complete set of Vampirella versus Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is a blood-themed villain, I'm supposing. I haven't read this yet. Here's issue 1. 2. Oh, that's a good Vampy. Look at that. Yikes. Oh, I got 2 number 2s. Number 3. That's a sweet cover. There's a lot going on, but not a lot of real estate on Vampy. Not crazy about that. And then here we are. That's, I believe, the last one. Any more in the box? Yeah, that was it. This was $20 for the set. Here, let me try something. I think because I'm not encumbered. This other camera is on a stand, and so here you're gonna get sick for a second because I want to keep it kind of clear. Yeah. Okay. If anything, if I keep you see it bouncing around, that's me hitting the table. This is all new. Like I said, it's a demo. Here we go. Photo covers. This is another complete set. I found a guy at the mall who the one who runs the mall comic show, who had a bunch of Vampirella come in, and so of course I bought it. Here is the Silver Anniversary Collection, issue number 1, photo cover. Nice. Silver Anniversary Collection number 2. This is not a photo cover. You would look at that and think that is a human woman, but no, that is a painted cover. It really comes alive when you like pull it forward, but it's amazing. This looks like a photo cover. And then we have this kind of like, what's her name? Danger Girl smoking gun variant, or the same. It's got that Dawn cover where her butt's in the air, but I dig it. This cover, I like it with the burning sensor. That cover, I like. See, look, this is what I'm talking about. Like, look how different, like how much of herself is covered with that dress, and then look how thin they make it. That's one of my favorite things about Vampirella. It's like it's kind of like D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, like the rule of cool. The rule of Vampirella is make her look hot. As long as you make her look hot, you can make the outfit whatever you want. The story can be as goofy as you want. But make it look cool. This looks like she's doing an invisible DJ set. Like she's spinning. Here we go. More Vampirella, please. This is polybagged. Vampirella of Draculon, number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Those hips, though. Those hips don't lie. They're starting to feel you, boy. Vampirella Retro, number 1 of 3. I haven't checked, but I'm presuming that these are reprints of the Warren run after Harris Comics got it. Retro, number 2 of 3. And Retro, number 3 of 3. Richard asked, do you think they or want that they should make a movie of her? No, I don't. Vampirella benefits greatly. One of the things that benefits Vampirella greatly is the fact that she doesn't have a consistent continuity story. So they'll make a story where she's in love with Dracula. They'll make a story where she's a little kid growing up on Draculon. They'll make a story where she comes to America in the 1700s. She doesn't land in the 90s. They're always messing with her continuity. And so like each one of these stories is its own thing. I don't know. And because of that, there's no real consensus on how Vampirella is. There's no consensus on how she is as a character. There's no consensus on her background. There's general consensuses, but like I'm afraid that if they made a Vampirella movie, they would kind of like try to ground her in a forced continuity, and I'm not about it. Vengeance of Vampirella 2, number 1 is in the mail. The guy had number 1, but he had it for $15, and I got all the Vampirella books I've shown right now for $100. But he had the first one for $15, and I was like, I know I can get it for cheaper. I went home on eBay, $6. Vengeance of Vampirella, number 3. Number 4. This is a cool one. Number 5. And we're getting into old Adam Hughes, guys. Old Adam Hughes. Here we are. That's a Hughes cover. Vengeance of Vampirella, number 6. I believe this is a Hughes cover as well. I'm looking for his like AH signature, but there's that one. This one's cool because it's Vengeance of Vampirella 8, but they put the polybag on backwards. So you have like the card, the collector card. They were big into that because Vampirella sold a lot of trading cards. She sold a lot of trading cards because look, this is a bigger conversation, and I don't think people in the comic book community are ready to have this conversation yet, but I'll pitch it here to you guys. I don't think people are ready to have the discussion about how fucked up it is that they sold borderline porn to children. So there used to be the Wild West when it came to advertising to children. Way back in the 90s, which is now 30 years ago. Thank you. You could get a cereal on TV promoted directly to children. They could advertise it to children to the point where the commercial would say, hey, try our cereal, go bug your parents. It would literally say that. Go tell your parents you want frosted dildos. And so you'd go to your parents and you'd get them to buy you the frosted dildos. That was nixed. They created laws that said you cannot advertise directly to children anymore. But think of all the stuff we got. Do you remember that Terminator hand from Terminator 2 that allowed you to make the middle finger and every kid in America got to flip off their friends? That was a toy for a rated R movie, but the toy was sold to children. Actually, Batman Returns got in a lot of trouble with McDonald's because parents were complaining that like this movie that you're selling McDonald's toys for is very violent. Batman Returns is very violent. And so McDonald's came up with a whole bunch of rules about like the movies for the toys for the movies can't represent certain things. They can't represent rated R movies, so on and so forth. Comic books had no compunction. Comic books would sell shit like this directly next to Spider-Man and Superman. I'm not saying this is pornography. I'm not saying this is pornography. However, if you're 12 years old and you're in a comic book store and on the left is Spider-Man and on the right is Batman, and then you got this shit looking at you in the middle, that makes you feel a certain type of way. And they knew what they were doing. And so we have this like comic book like shared trauma of being sold this like really licentious imagery to us as kids, and it's kind of fucked. But I don't know if like we're all ready to have that conversation yet, because it kind of devolves into that South Park joke, where they're like, oh yeah, I was sold porn at, at 12 years old, and then someone goes, nice, nice. So I don't know if we're there yet. Vengeance Vampirella 11, it does come with a collector card, but someone took this out of the poly bag but kept the card with it. You can't see it, but over here, this actually you can. There's a little tin box right there, and it's full of bookmarks because I'm always reading, and I have a lot of different books I'm reading at any given time. Comic books, trades. Right now, I'm reading War and Peace by Tolstoy. I'm only at 98 pages out of 700, so like, don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about Tolstoy next week. Here we go. Vampirella number 12. So I've got that tin over there full of bookmarks, and I love collecting different bookmarks. And then here's Vampirella Holy War. That set that I bought for $100 came with an ash can. Like I said earlier, I love the ash cans. Okay, this is it. Last but not least, I'm going to keep this under an hour. I promise we'll get you guys out of here. This has been a great demo. I'm not going to lie. Real talk. As you can tell, I'm a chatter. I can talk your head off. But when I'm sharing the space with a lot of different comic book nerds, sometimes I get carried away and I want to talk more, but I feel like I'm steamrolling over my friends. And so I end up pulling back on some of the stories I want to say. But this has been fun, in terms of me just being able to like go off and engage more with the audience. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Okay. This is what I'm reading next pile. I have a huge stack of Evangeline in my room. God help me, I will finish that series. But here we are. This is what I'm reading next. I Breathed a Body by Aftershock Comics. Sweet, merciful Jesus. Is that not the most provocative title you've ever heard? I breathed a body. I don't even understand. But it gives me Hellraiser vibes, the skinless person that kind of, they opened up the box and got punished for it. I literally have no idea. When I buy comics like this in a set, I don't like to know anything about it. I want to go in completely blind, and that is I Breathe the Body. Luna. This is another set. These ones I'm showing you are sets. This is another set. Luna number 1. Luna number 5. Beautiful covers. And again, I have no idea what this is about, but it looks so cool. Here's another one. Crimson Flower, number 1. This is a 4-issue series by Dark Horse. Dark Horse doesn't disappoint. The older I get, the more I appreciate Dark Horse and what they did. Oh, Hope. You're after my own heart. Every time you open your mouth, Hope, I find another thing that we have in common. Evangeline is in my room. Yeah. Once I'm done, I won't be able to resell them because they'll just crumble in my hands. Saturated in sperm. This I bought with Mike from Lunch Money Comics. This is an indie book called Creed. With arms wide open under the sunlight. I only knew this. The reason why I bought this is I knew this from Key Collector. One of my favorite things to doom scroll is to go into a category in Key Collector and just learn. Look at the books. How rare are they? How hard are they to find? And so when I was looking at like weird indie books, they said this was a low print run book. And when me and Mike were at the store shopping and I found it, I knew what it was. I knew it was rare. I didn't know what it was. I pulled it out and he's Googling because he's always Googling. And he's like, that's like a $50 book. And I'm like, yo, I know, but I don't care. It's not $50 unless I sell it. I want to read this New England Gothic. But like real Gothic. Like I don't imagine he's wearing fishnet about to shoot up a school. But that's just a sick cover. And then it's got this beautiful like angel-y kind of lady on the back. I Feel Sick, issues 2 and issues 1. This is by SLG. SLG, that stands for Slave Labor Graphics, because they were making fun of how little they make making comic books. This is a part of the Johnny the Homicidal Maniac universe. I don't know anything about it. I've read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac to death. I've got his super rare first appearance, the Goth magazine. And I've read Squee, which is his Johnny's neighbor that gets his own series. But this I haven't read, so I'm interested. Oh, those weren't supposed to be here. These are just Painkiller Jane books. That's another series I'm reading right now, Painkiller Jane. Going through the whole canon. Here we go. Crazy Man #1. This is by Continuity Comics. This is Neil Adams's company. Neil Adams owns this company, and the outline of the book is the man's face. Oh shit! Hold on one second. I forgot my computer. My computer hasn't been plugged in this whole time, and it just said your battery's running low. And now I locked over my beet lotion. Great. Oh, and we're back. So the outline of the book is the man's face. So they actually like diamond cut the book, kind of like a trading card, and it's like that throughout, obviously. But that's sick. Okay, here's the deal, Richard. I do quit runs, but if I buy it, I read it. Does that make sense? So if, for example, this isn't true, but this is just to answer your question. If I bought Spawn issues 1 through 10 and I hated it, I will read issues 1 through 10, and I will not care after issue 9. If I don't like it, I'm not going to keep going. However, if I bought the first 40 issues of Spawn and I get to issue 9 and I hate it, I'm going to read all the 40 issues I bought. I read what I buy is what I'm trying to say. I read what I buy, but I will quit after I've read what I want. Like here's a series. What's it called? Lady Killer. Lady Killer had, I believe it was 6 issues. And I found at a store issues 1 through 4. I loathed it. And I'm not going to keep going. If I find them in dollar bins, fine. I'll finish the story because whatever, I've got the first 4. Why not finish it? But I really didn't like the story that I read so far. So to hell with it. This is a fun one. Afterlife with Archie, number 1 through 5. This is a series that is obnoxious to try and find. If you go on eBay right now and see like Archie, Afterlife with Archie 1 through 5, someone's going to try to get $30 out of you. And that's not unfair because it's supply and demand. But Afterlife with Archie 1 through 5, I did pay. The cover price is accurate. I was at a store and I got all first 5 issues. This is a story. Pardon me. This is a story where Archie's dog is hurt by a car. And Archie goes to Sabrina the Teenage Witch's house with the dog and says, "You know magic. Please help my little boy." And she does. She brings him back to life. But Sabrina's not very good at being a witch. She's a teenage witch. So she doesn't just bring back the dog. She brings back the dead. And it becomes this Riverdale clash with zombies. And it goes on for a little while, actually. And there are several #1 variant covers. So if your variant cover #1 doesn't look like mine, it's not that it's a multi-print. It's that it's just one of the variants that they have. But it's a really cool story. I want to read it. I'm a big Sabrina fan culturally. And then just to finish off the box, so I can let all you kind people go. This is the first appearance of Danger Girl. Danger Girl, it says preview up in the corner. This is the book that you see in dollar bins. This is the book that you find all the time. However, I got the polybag version because they were trying to push this other series called Deviate. Special limited edition, Deviate. And then down here, exclusive 8-page story, never before seen sketches Danger Girl preview. And then what's awesome is in the polybag version, Danger Girl is sticking at the back. So you can find this single issue all the time. I actually just bought, as in like a couple hours ago, I just bought the rarest first issue of Danger Girl. It's a disco cover where it's just one of the variants of issue number 1, and it's they made a print of 5,000. I know because I bought these trades. They're like cheap little trades that only contain 2 books a piece of the original Danger Girl story. That's number 2. That's number 1. And in the back of these comics, they give you a little bit more detail about, like, here are the other Vampirella. Here are the other Danger Girl variants that you can get. And so they identify this disco cover. It's this holofoil cover. It's called Chromium. It's a chromium cover of the girls in like the 70s disco outfits. And it is actually the most expensive one. I was bidding on Saturday. I was bidding on the book, and it went for $80. And I was like, oh, get to hell, because every other copy is like a CGC slab, and they're all like $300 or $400. And then just today, a guy sent me an offer and said, like, hey, I just posted this. It's the chromium book, but it's raw, and I paid like $70. This is the same thing as that polybagged Danger Girl number 1. It's the same book. It's the same first appearance of Danger Girl. However, this is just an alternate cover. It is the American Entertainment exclusive edition. So if you have this, or you find this, this is also the first appearance of Danger Girl. It's just that alternative cover. Okay, that's here. Let's bring it back in. That's it, guys. Man, I would call this successful. Just talking about comic books, chatting with everybody, hanging out. I love being able to jump on like this. Oh, I got a compliment. First live video I've ever been able to catch. Hands down my favorite. Oh, Lonnie, you're adorable. Everybody's being nice. Thanks for stopping by. This is really fun. I like doing this. I like just showing off what I'm talking about and just, just blathering on. Do you have a thing on covers you collect? An example is I'll buy any comic I find that has a mushroom on the cover. Like penises? Are like mushroom are we like mushrooms or mushrooms? Geektastic Dad, mushrooms or mushrooms? What are we talking about here? I don't. So no, I know what he's saying, but I think no, I do characters. Like I have a huge box of Vampirella variants. I have a huge collection of Crypto the Super Dog. I do individual stuff like that, like characters, but I don't really have. You know what? No, that's not true. That Geektastic Dad, I apologize. No, so in my Vampirella collection, I do have a lot of neon variants. I do have a lot of neon variants for my Vampirella collection. So yeah, I do that. No, Chris, you're the man. Don't assume my gender. He clarified mushrooms, not wieners. Fair. Thanks for chatting, hanging and chatting. Thank you, Hope. You're the best. So yeah, this has been really fun. This is a great experiment. I love doing this. I like doing this way more than traditional unboxings in terms of like guys sitting in a chair. So I like showing off stuff like this. This is really fun. You guys are great. Thanks for stopping by.